Hello out there. Welcome to the Chicago Zine Fest 2020 Friday night reading, brought to you by Zoom, everybody's favorite social media, social distancing program for the past 3 months. Obviously, we had to unfortunately cancel our in-person Zine Fest this year due to coronavirus, but we thought we would still try to celebrate the wonderful zine community here in Chicago and throughout the world, really, by bringing you some readers who are going to share their work with us. So we have a few folks tonight who are going to be sharing their work, and we will be uploading this video to Chicago Zine Fest YouTube channel, and you can watch it and comment on it and follow all of these fantastic readers tonight. So jumping right into our first reader for the evening. Talie Zrihen is a queer, trans, first-generation Moroccan American poet from Chicago. They handmake and self-publish their works, including Big Words, Little Mouth, Go Find Yourself, and This Is Not a Poem, This Is an Apology. Let's give it up for Talie.
Thank you so much. I got a couple poems for us tonight. This first piece is called Exodus from the Family Nest. Foreign kids, don't leave quietly. Don't leave with blessings and helping hands. We leave in bits and pieces, packed bags in the middle of the night. We leave kicking and screaming, fingers pointing at each other, at gods, at ourselves. We leave with mothers taking father's sides, no matter how many promises she made behind his back. She'll still keep them. We leave spitting words and blood, nailing grudges to door frames, kissing them on the way out. Foreign parents don't come to your apartment, don't bring you a housewarming gift. They call to ask why you haven't been home lately, why you don't call. They want to know where you've been, how long you stayed, who's been over, wants to keep keeping tabs, says they care, says they're worried about you, says you're eating too much, says you're not eating enough, says your picture on Facebook changed. Why is there a person in the background drinking, says, were you at a party? Says, do you drink? Says, are you high right now? Says, do you ever get nervous? They don't say that. They ask if it's their fault, and in a way it is. Foreign parents teach you how to rise, how to make food from the ashes, how to detach our limbs so we can be everywhere at once, even though foreign parents will never be at your recitals or open mics, the same way I don't want to be on the couch watching dad's sport ball games. Don't want to work foreign parents' 14-hour shifts. Don't want to put myself second to anyone. Don't want to share my bank account. Foreign parents teach you how to save, teach you how to dance for rainy days, how to collect the water in containers my mother has been saving for an occasion just like this. Emma lets me grocery shop in her fridge. She knows I don't know how to budget. She knows I don't know how to hold up all the walls I've built, the bridges I've burned. Don't know what to do with the pieces I've been collecting, the ones still burning, the promises, the knots I've untied. Emma knows I don't have all the recipes. Foreign parents don't write down recipes, don't measure out the family traumas. It's passed down genetically or by osmosis, but probably both, also neither. Maybe it's from sitting in the kitchen where all of the gossip is, learned my foreign parents' mannerisms, like when I correct my partner on how to hold a paring knife, or question them on why the fire is on so high, what spices they use. I say, it's too much. I say, it's not enough. I say, I don't like wasting water. And what I'm really saying is, foreign parents measure out how much water you use when you wash the dishes so they can correct you when you're doing their chores. They say, they'll teach you how to keep house one day. They'll teach you how to respect the resources we know will run out. Foreign parents say, my parents did it this way. and their parents did it this way, so it must be done. Foreign parents want you to go, want you to stay, want a happiness for you that only exists in the daydreams they had when they were shoeless in Yugoslavia's winter or fleeing for their life in Africa. Foreign parents want you to run, but not as far as they did. The second piece I have is called Traditions Are Greater Than or Equal to Control. My parents' restaurant, also called childcare, the hospital, home. Sick days weren't spent sick. Would have inhaled the dirt through a straw if it would have made cleaning the carpets faster. We had a manual vacuum. It actually worked pretty decent. When the season started beating my parents' home, I questioned if the restaurant was more like a prison. How could you feed strangers? Can't you see I'm going hungry? Food in the house of a restaurant owner is usually bread and cheese. Maybe a few cans of something that never expires, but it's never as much as people believe it is. One night, after my father came home from work, he woke me from sleep, carried me to the kitchen counter where we took turns eating the stale Halloween candy my parents collected from us to redistribute in our lunches. In that moment, I felt chosen. When the third sibling on my father's side died of diabetes, the sweet tooth in our mouths became coffins. I do not share land or language with my ancestors, hardly share a last name. History is sometimes twisted neatly into parts of you, and I can suck them down trying to dissolve, but I am from their ocean, sugar in my veins and all. Parents apparently don't know how to parent. Teaching bad habits like a religion, I guess technically the rot in my mouth will bring me closer to the state of God. But what if I'm not ready to sacrifice more of myself? Not ready to pass traditions? Maybe I don't want to share the sickness. Have we thought about future mutations? It's in our blood. And then I have one more piece that I just wrote. I do want to give a little bit of a content warning at the end. It does mention suicide. If anybody is uncomfortable with that, I would suggest not listening. And this piece is called Give and Never Ever Take. Somewhere over the hibiscus flowers in our tea, you whisper sweet, softly, I forget to listen. You hate this about me, but I don't hate myself enough to change. I know it's not polite, but I've spent so much time trying to silence myself that all I can do now is listen. I've been catching myself out of breath lately, catching myself running faster, but not fast enough. My clothes have holes in them, bleach stains too, and honestly, I like them that way, so I normally don't go where I'm required to wear new ones. Once, I painted my nails, and for weeks, I didn't know whose hands I was looking at. Admitting what you're meant for is hard, especially when it comes to the shape of your body. Grandfather, a boxer, my father fought in wars. I don't know what to do with this feeling. I want any excuse not to go. Wishing for snow or a flood, take me out, take me away, take me everywhere I don't want to be. Maybe if I start wishing for the opposite, the right things might start happening. Have you realized that we're greedy? All of us. It's just, there I am praying for money for the poor and break meditation because I'm hungry, so I open my fridge and eat something. I keep asking myself when too much is too much. I left work with a migraine yesterday. I didn't tell them it was from the edibles I made. I chased you in my dreams last night. Woke up with strands of your hair in my hands. I added it to my altar. I will not burn this piece of you as I have the others when I like something. I become completely obsessed and want nothing more than to drown in knowing everything I can. I brush my teeth thinking of how many particles of information I'm removing and how quickly I can replace them. When my parents told me to learn Spanish, that it would help me in my future, what I heard was, don't learn the language of your ancestors. The one we still speak. We're already gone. Make roots in the soil that hasn't raised you, that never will. One that lacks the nutrients you require. You need to adapt, and adapt I didn't. The definition of perfection is constantly changing based on social norms, so I beat myself for shedding, for being unsatisfied, for chasing a moving target, for being all out of bullets, for not being smart enough to keep one for self. Thank you.
Thank you, Talie. Thank you. Wonderful. Okay. Next up, we have Jessica Checkeroski is a graphic designer and illustrator based out of Chicago and has been making comics and tabling for 4 years. She typically enjoys using color and humor to explore the ongoings of daily life, her dog, dating, as well as take jabs at pop culture. More recently, she's been challenging herself to look beyond humor and make her work more vulnerable and even less polished, looking to reflect the vulnerability of the content, delivering an abstracted and poetic view of day-to-day life. Let's give it up for Jessica. And make you the host, Jessica.
Hi, thanks. Those poems were great. Just want to point that out real quick before I share my screen. This is exciting. So thanks for tuning in, everyone. Gonna change the note or the kind of vibe, I suppose. Let's see. All right. So what I'm going to share today is my volume 2 of Help Me, I'm Single, The Hookup. The first volume's called The Breakup. So here we go. Oh, it doesn't want to click forward. There we go. Okay. So meanwhile, in the world of dating, this book picks up from Help Me, I'm Single, The Breakup, where I just stepped foot into the wild jungles of the dating world after a long-term relationship. So here we are, reader, back in the thick of it, learning how to date. This volume focuses on online app dating, a part of being single, it turns out. Swipe, Matt, same as it ever was, miles away. I'm not going to read each of these, but you'll get the gist. You pick up the book at some point. Jeff, fluff bait. He's holding a puppy. We got Eric, health nut number 1, practically lives in the gym. We have Leaf, health nut number 2. I only drink tea. I use photosynthesis for meals. Do you feel bad about yourself yet? Zach, bro, whiskey and beer. Guess which bro I am? Hint. One that's more like brah and less like bro. And then we have Mike. He likes to travel, the office, tacos, breathing, having a pulse. Eventually you match, talk for a bit, and decide to meet up. So getting ready for my first date. Woo! Putting on makeup, getting wild. So I just got this tattoo. Isn't it cool? Yeah, sure. So you're also a designer. Where do you see yourself in 5 years? Living in Chicago. I mean, what are your career goals? No ambition. Well, the thing is, am I getting fired? Post-date, walking home. I wonder if we'll hang out again. So how'd your first date go? It went pretty well, despite his minor existential crisis. I can't believe you grilled him hard. He's fine. I just can't tell if we'll hang out again. Probably not. It sounded like a job interview. How does this look? Okay, I don't know what I'm doing and I need some help. Well, a lot of help. Brittany, will you be my dating spirit guide? Oh my God, I'd be honored. First step is go on more dates. Don't take them so serious. And then let's debrief. Not that we wouldn't anyway. Oh my God, I'm so excited. So dating spirit guide qualifications. They've seen it all. Good listener. Great at giving sex positive advice. They've done online dating, unlike me. They've mastered casual dating. They're queer, aka date a variety of genders. Knows the best meetup spots. A few of their case studies to further their qualifications as my dating guide. Case study number 1, a guy said he was a goblin on his profile, then turned out to talk exclusively about being a goblin. I thought I was very clear about being a goblin. Case study number 2, if the front security guy asked about us, let's just say we were old friends. Let's wait to kiss in my apartment. What the hell? You have a girlfriend? Case study number 3. This is so nice. You're thoughtful, funny, and made a steak dinner. And you're queer like me? I can't believe my luck. Some of them are good. Can't all be bad. A few dating highlights. Real people. Bad situations. I really love hockey. You take the kids to practice. I'm not the one who loves hockey. I'm all about The Office, and I've been rewatching Boy Meets World. outdated sense of humor. Dating pain point number 1, putting on and taking off makeup. It's not coming off. Blah, blah, blah. Why are his eyes so pale? He must be a skinwalker. In Navajo culture, skinwalkers are shape-shifting wizards. Their eyes are one of the defining features. I don't believe in working. I just want to be a stay-at-home dad. Probably wants me to do all the work. I'm not a reader. Articles, books, signs. I just don't care for reading. Yikes. Dating pain point number 2, bad conversations and or having to interview someone. Yeah, so ask me more things about me. Everyone in the restaurant industry drinks a lot. 7th shot in 30 minutes. Yikes. I have women friends, and did you know that women have to worry about being sexually assaulted when they're on dates? Wild. Of course I know. I'm a woman. Now let me help you. And I'm strangling him in the picture in case it's not clear. Dating pain point number 3, coordinating plans. The fact that anyone meets up at all is amazing. Hey, we should meet up. Yeah, I'm already out with friends if you want to meet up tonight. Awesome. How about a dive bar? Yeah, what time? ... Nothing. Likely what happened was if he could only stick to a plan, he would still be alive. He got hit by a bus and now there's like pigeons eating him or something. It's not all bad. So there's positive pants on the left and there's skeptical slacks on the right. So positive pants says, hey, it's not all bad. Not every single date is annoying or problematic. Your overview is only showing the bad. Yeah, but why waste time showing dates that went okay or highlight mediocre interactions? Besides, it's my comic. And so I'm clicking with someone. Watch out, world. We're on a 3rd date. We are connecting so hard right now. Yeah, want to get out of here? Smooching. I don't have condoms. Bummer. It's getting late. I should get going. Maybe we can hang out next week. Hey, before you leave, you should borrow this comic. I think you'll like it. The coolest comic anyone would love. So first bit of dating advice, you should definitely pick up condoms. As for that book, you know you're never getting it back, right? I know that now. And lending or leaving something behind could be interpreted as a trap to secure another date. Yikes, that is not my intention. Just thought I'd appreciate the book's humor. I know that, so maybe be more clear and direct to start, i.e. what are you looking for? Well, I don't know. I don't want to date anyone serious right now, but I do like the idea of casual sex, and I'm like a snow leopard. Okay, how are you like a snow leopard? The female leopard only mates once a year. She's too busy hunting and doing cool leopard stuff. And then the leopard saying, all the women who are independent, throw your paws up at me. Beyonce. And really only feels the need to hook up once a year when she goes wild. No, this is all based on my memory from a nature documentary. I did no research, refused to, as it could, jeopardize my analogy and consequently my entire sense of reality. Okay, I get the hookup thing, but why only once a year? I could not make that work. Well, like this majestic feline, I'm kind of picky. And the conditions and qualifications have to be just right. London calling, a date with the right conditions. So what brings you to the States? I'm going to try to do an English accent. Bear with me. Walking and scouting for future projects, but also some sightseeing. Reader, it's important that you know, regardless of my drawing, that this dude looked like Jason Statham, and he had an accent. Brilliant. You can't just be into him because he's hot with an accent. He's also ambitious and has a career and good at conversation. I think the Queen would approve. Oh yes, I approve. In fact, I demand you hook up for England. It's the Queen, very into it. So I want to be transparent. I'm not looking for anything serious as I somewhat recently got out of a long-term thing. Really, I'm actually in the same situation and only looking for fun too. Perfect. Should we get out of here? The leopard is finally spots a suitor with potential. I am wild, inviting a random hot dude back to my place. It's been a long year, but she's ready to take on a proper mate once again. Making out. Who doesn't like illustrations of that? The two take in each other's scents. So should we get a condom? I never got them. Ha, I don't have any, but there's a store a block away. I'll just go grab some real quick. Hey, I'm new to this grocery store. Where are the condoms? Right there in aisle 3. Right. Thanks, pal. Never bought these. Usually a boyfriend would do this. I guess these will work. Oh my God. There's a stranger in my house alone. Panic. What's going on up there? Perhaps they need privacy. Ah, I'm back. Don't rob me. I thought about that as soon as you left. Luckily, you had some cool comics to keep me entertained till you got back. That was fun. Thanks for, not stealing everything. My spirit guide is going to be so proud. What? Oh, nothing. As Queen of England, I knight thee, sex goddess, all the land, my accent's going here, and perhaps the universe. I'm not sure what my power limitations are. Somehow I don't believe that last part. The leopardess, satisfied, relaxes in a cave. It will be another year or longer until she seeks out a mate again. What's this? A sex call? But it's only been 2 months. Never have we seen this. We have much to learn. To be continued. That's it. Thanks, guys.
All right, wonderful. Thank you so much, Jessica. That was great. I'm so sorry you had to endure all of that. Very cool. All right, next up is Mattie Ganson. Change you to the host. Mattie Ganson is a rain-drenched, good-for-nothing wastrel who someone has allowed to sell books at Uncharted Books. They write zines and short stories and perfumed letters. They think Hawaiian print is a neutral, and it's very obvious that they're an only child. Let's give it up for Mattie.
Thank you. I'm so nervous. I'm like in my house, just nervous, which is going so well.
It's okay. I feel the same, so it's all good.
We're doing it. Okay, I'm gonna share my screen. Let's get going. So I'm gonna be reading. Can everybody see this? This all good?
Yep, we can see it.
Party. Thanks, guys. So I'm going to be reading an excerpt from a new zine that has not gone to print that I've been working on that's called The 1D Fanfiction Writing School for Teenage Lonely Hearts. It's about... Oh, geez. Okay. It's about fanfiction. So let's head back to the beginning. I'm going to just start by reading the intro. So... When I was like 16 and so deep in the One Direction fandom that I could not begin to fathom how I would ever escape its clutches, I was like, when I'm a famous writer, I'm going to be honest about the fact that I started in fanfiction, because it would be so cool for me to see serious writers I admire being honest about having started in the same place that I started. And even as an infant baby, I can recognize the fact that the sheer creative output of my fellow fanfiction writers is amazing and creative and worth taking seriously. And now that I'm an extremely famous writer, it's time to pay my dues, zine style. One super fun part of the zine is that now, as opposed to like 10 years ago, there are some New York Times bestselling authors that also openly write fanfiction. No, I am not talking about 50 Shades of Grey, LMAO, which wasn't really true before. Also, an author who wrote incredibly spicy fanfiction that I read at like 13 is now friends with one of my favorite literary authors. I'm not jealous about it. It's fine. Obviously, it's fine. Slide to the DMs if you want to know who that is. So kind of to get going, I'm going to read a bit of an excerpt from the essay that's kind of the meat of this zine. I'm not going to read the whole thing, but I think that this kind of gives us a lay of the land in terms of like how I'm thinking about fan fiction. This is kind of a classic zine for me, and that I had this idea and I tried to write like a normal, like concise essay about it, and it just spiraled into like endless content. So here's the essay that we started with. And then there's kind of a lot of additional information from there. So here is the last paragraph of the essay. Sometimes when I talk to people about reading the classics, I get the impression that they think they should read them but don't actually want to. In high school, I read a devil's syllabus of one classic book and then one fanfiction, as if this would save me from the perdition of not being well read. It's possible that I learned a lot about writing from reading these classic texts, but it was from fanfiction that I learned how to write through emotion towards pleasure. In doing so, I considered what it would look like to write a narrative that was compassionate towards the reader, one that prioritized healing and catharsis, one that imagined ways of treating others with kindness and imagined a world where love and intimacy were truly powerful forces. One of the features of late capitalism is alienation, from work, from each other, from the media we consume, a condition that fanfiction miraculously gives us tools to resist. While fanfiction and writing based on its principles can be escapism, it can also teach us how to write in ways that draw roadmaps for intimacy. Fanfiction is writing that wants hurts to be healed, that conceives of relationships that face difficulties but are still satisfying, and investigates the idea and experience of pleasure. Fanfiction's cultural reputation of badly written pornography for women is a disservice to what I see as a vibrant literary movement, one with its own norms and a distinct ideology that deserves to be taken seriously. Ta-da! So I showed an early draft of this zine to a pal, and he was like, "Can you explain to me what makes a good fanfic?" And I was like, "You realize that's like asking what makes a good story?" And he was like, "So is like 50 Shades of Grey?" And I interrupted and was like, "No, oh my God, no, don't say that name to me, not in my house." So here it is for all of you absolute Philistines. 50 Shades is not a good fanfic. I am not talking about her. This is not a Wattpad household, and don't you forget it. And if you don't know what a Wattpad household is, congratulations. But it did make me kind of start thinking about like what does make a good fanfic, and I thought it through, especially if I'm pitching fanfic to people. I think it's important for me to think meaningfully about what actually constitutes as a quality fanfic. I mean, obviously, this is so subjective. Part of fic's charm is that you get to decide what you personally love and what you think is good, but I do think that there are things that appear over and over. So I would say jokes. Not every fic is Joketown USA, but it is the funniest written work I've ever read, is tied between fic and Daniel Lavery. A snappy little plot. A lot of fan fiction takes cues from genre fiction, and a case fic, which is basically a mystery, is a classic of the fic world. It's also by fans and for fans. Woo! I have kind of a running joke with a fellow writer that we're writing the infinite fan fiction, and that is because a lot of fan fiction is in conversation with other works in the community in a very like real and immediate way. It's like writing by people that you also talk to. So it's not just like, oh, and then Sally Rooney publishes a novel and you read it. It's like, well, your friend publishes this fic, you read it. They read your fic. They like have a conversation with you about writing, and that's part of the experience and why I think it's so valuable. And then, so moments of heightened emotional satisfaction. So kissing, caretaking, confessing, apologizing, joking, fighting. I think that the kissing obviously takes center stage for a lot of people when they think about fan fiction, but it's really part of this like larger project of these really intense emotional moments that you see over and over in fan fiction. So you made this little collage with the December issue of Bon Appetit magazine, where I'm asking kind of these questions about like pleasure and like how exactly we write about pleasure. So here are some questions that I was thinking about. Are pleasure and catharsis the same thing? Is pleasure a complicated emotion? And what would it mean to write towards pleasure? So then we're gonna skip this. So then I've included an excerpt from the extremely overdramatic fic I wrote at age 16, the love confession scene. Notice how love is portrayed here as a powerful, transcendent force capable of healing and enacting change. And I'm not gonna go through this close reading. Suffice to say, it's balls to the fucking wall. Absolutely unhinged. And then from there, I thought up some writing prompts, because I think that there are a lot of questions that fan fiction is sort of asking implicitly that I wanted to make kind of visible. So here are the prompts based off of that kind of thought exercise. So 1, what would your ideal kiss be? How is this dream kiss different from the dream kiss you would have wanted at 16? 2, what relationship dynamics, romantic, sexual, platonic, do you find the most entertaining, comforting, or compelling? Are they the same dynamics that you have in your own life? Should they be? 3, what makes it difficult to love people as they need to be loved? What makes it easy? 4, what do you want from a story? What do you actually want? So then I kind of just went on this bender where I was trying to figure out kind of like what the difference between fan fiction and literary fiction was. And the further I went into the hole, the less I feel like I knew. So that was a question that I didn't really expect to ask. But as I made the zine, again, this is the second draft of the zine, I feel like I ended up creating more questions. So that's kind of the conversation that I left off with here. And I don't even think, instead of trying to summarize that, because I don't know if that's possible, I'm going to end on my final page where I'm sort of just asking the questions that I was left with at the end of this, which is probably just going to be issue 1. There's going to be issue 2. We have to do it. So I'm going to read my final page kind of as my end note. So, why did I think this would be a quick, uncomplicated little zine? Fanfic is so many things. It's tied up in so many large, complicated questions. What is a good story? What exactly about fanfic is so cringy? What's the real difference between fanfic and romance novels? Is there really a material difference between fanfic and regular fic? I think so, but it's been so hard to pin down. Why exactly do so many teens who read fic stop reading a lot of regular books? Is it because YA doesn't really take them seriously or give them what they need? Is fanfic's strength more in its content or its community? Why can't I give fanfic up? Is it nostalgia? Is it loneliness? Is it just more fun and more for me than any other fun book? I don't like the same things that straight women do. Why am I running out of room over and over in this scene? I have so much to say. Thank you so much for having me.
Thank
That's
you. Thank
one
you so
day
much.
writing school.
Thank you, Mattie.
Of course.
Wonderful. Thank you for scanning that and making it viewable to us. That's a great way to do that. I love the visuals and text in there. Also, if you're watching this, we're gonna put the links to everyone's website or Instagram or social media, whatever. So please give them a look through or follow, or order some of their wonderful zines that you're watching right now. Right now. Okay, our next reader is moving along. John Mastanuono is a queer cartoonist and writer living in Chicago. John is a veteran organizer of the Chicago Alternative Comics Expo, CAKE, and practitioner and teacher of Vipassana meditation. Let's give it up for John.
Thank you, Alex.
And let me make you
Can I share my screen?
host. Let me make you the host.
Great. Got it. Thank you. And I want to say thank you to Chicago Zine Fest for being so good to me and so good to CAKE over the years. Yeah, and for the opportunity to read tonight. It's just great. Thank you. Thank you so much to Alex and Anna and all the other organizers. I'm going to read from 2 zines that came out last year. This is the first one. It's called Poems About Anger. The first one has a title, but it's not relevant for the body of work that I'm reading. It's early autumn. None of my friends have birthdays, nor are in hospitals right now. So I have time to go for walks and read books and bear witness to the reasons the people I love feel they are broken, the reasons people I love feel they are broken, and when it's very still, sift through the evidence of my own. Thank you. The woods behind the house where someone grew up. Behind the barricade. The place between the end of someone's street and the busier road that runs perpendicular. Where you have the most distance from each. There, make a nest to put your anger in. Make a nest to put your anger. Weave it in twigs, line it with leaves. Set it up as high as you can get. Carefully push your anger out. Then keep it safe and warm. Drop everything to parent it. Google, why am I so angry? Why am I so angry all the time? Why am I so angry today? Why am I so angry quiz? Why am I so angry at my wife? Even as you know the way forward isn't Googleable. Instead, sit with it. Trust yourself to know when it's ready. Trust yourself to know when it's ready. One time I remember I turned from thinking about all the things I imagine people take from me and instead started to thank them for what they give me. And you can show your friend later the nest, but you may not be able to find it or remember what it was for. Thank you. This next one is about a type of therapy called EMDR therapy, which is eye movement, desensitization and reprogramming therapy, which is a therapist will use lights or some sort of stimulus to get your eyes to move the way they do in REM sleep. So your body sort of thinks it's sleeping, but also you're sort of awake and sort of hypnotized. And in this state, you can reprocess memories from childhood that might be traumatic or new traumatic memories. And this is something that I did with a therapist that for a couple of years. She moved to Montreal. This comic is about one session that I had after a traumatic experience, which was unfortunately finding someone who was no longer alive. So content warning for that if you want to skip ahead, because it's, you know, tough times right now. So the title is Spiritual Labor of Women Living Under Capitalism Is, and by that title I mean that it exists. It doesn't not exist. Since you've been having migraines, I can't hook you up to the lights. Okay. Instead, I'll tap on the outside of your knees and guide you to a waking dream where you have made yourself a lake, the water, and the basin. I'm in this office to address the trauma of finding beloved dead by accident in the bathtub. The colors of that night, the smells of that night, hearing her scream. Those things inside and out which keep me tethered to that bathroom. Tap left, tap right, tap left, tap right, tap left, tap right. I stop to acknowledge my shame about a lifetime of paying and not paying women to fix me. Soon I go somewhere else. Now, think of a special word to bring yourself back here when anger or grief overwhelm you. And I hear a word that makes me other, neither a lake nor a man. Thank you. And the rest of these, the next three are from a poetry zine I made last fall called 10 Short Films. They're printed on these small cards and in a little baggie. But I need to move everyone's heads so I can see the words. This is called 8 Weeks. Fix myself. I raced to do it. Marathons. In Hotan with Nurluk, the translator. Chronic pain slid in while I slept. On the morning of that day I saw Bata, the last time it was normal. Just bad luck, doctor told me, unless, while I slept, my body did the thing to itself, the thing I look at diverting strangers wanting, to be invaded, drawn open. From there, an abscess slowly drains in weeks. 19 minus 6 is 13. 19 minus 6 is 13. 50% chance of complications hanging. Slowly drains, measured in micrograms, whispering in holes. She's you 4 years ago, but meaner or a different me. To be hosted somewhere else. To be hosted somewhere else. On the paper they gave me where it says exquisite pain, and drawn, read, and drawn again. Thank you. I worry every moment that I will tear. I had to tell Bada a date every 2 weeks is better for me. Fire consumes air, and air needs time to replenish itself. I console us by saying part of it is my age. 2 weeks is not long to me, but I think it's long to them, 10 years younger. We've been dating almost 2 years. That's how long I dated an Aries last time. It was wrong. I write poems about magic healers and witches that I know socially, empaths, not about surgeons, ER nurses, other lifters who let me put worry on them and lightning messages. I sit in silent rooms or with Charles playing myself when I am real. Sometimes on the filthy back patio reading you, darkness, to Timo in a dopey, untrained voice. On my white bed like a cloud, gestating a lot, hatching a little. Thanks. This poem is called The Moon Landing. I wonder what time the record store opens and if I should go to more than one. I plant my seeds expecting more than a tree. I plant my seeds expecting more than a tree. Some trees, sure, but also a lush, living, day-glow owl with big black eyes ringed and hot pink feathers, who speaks English, will love me forever, poison my enemies, and tell me. 1, how to earn enough money to live. 2, live a life that is interesting and complex enough to write about. 3, and have time to write about it. All the same life? Thank you. The last piece I want to read is about the contemporary moment. It might be called A Relationship to Thought is Our Most Important Relationship, or Consider Our Relationship to Thought is Our Most Important Relationship. Or it might not be called that. I'm at home. For the first month, men used large machines to replace the gas main from their cute system of little plastic flags in different colors. I wrestled with a screw in the back of our broken clothes dryer for an entire day and night to replace 2 gas valve coils. When that doesn't fix it, I replace a fuse in the igniter. One of the coils is defective and a technician helps me with that, but he says the rest of my work looks good. He teaches me how to use a voltage meter. And the dryer's fixed. I find studs in the walls and mount heavy things. My partner paints and learns yoga, and we're proud of how well we're getting along. My father's last sister dies alone. I teach myself Reiki from a book. Someone in El Segundo, California hacks my stamps.com and steals $865 worth of postage before my bank stops them and refunds the money back. I paged through the tracking information for all the $7.15 packages they sent to Goose Creek, South Carolina, El Dorado Hills, California, Baltimore. So many places. There's so many places. $7.15 packages, just pages and pages of them. I wear a mask when I go for walks, filling all 6 feet in every direction with menace and anonymity. Is this circumstance, shelter in place and work from home, the highest level of enlightenment I will ever know? This is the silence from which I am parent to myself. I check on my friends and even make new friends, but from the first days, my most persistent fantasy asks me, what if I did not know anyone? Thank you.
Thank you, John. Wonderful, wonderful work. Beautiful images, beautiful writing. Loved it. Thank you. Okay, we're going to move on to our next presenter. Dena Springer creates organized structures out of chaotic moments, exploring ways to bounce between Eastern and Western perspectives on identity. Her work has transferred into animated short films, illustrations, posters, and artist books. Let's give it up for Dena.
Sorry about that.
All good.
Thanks for having me. I really appreciate it. I don't have too much to say about it right now because it's still a work in progress, but the film I want to show is called You Are Here, and it's part 1. I think the one thing I will say about it is it's one thing that's on my mind a lot is this Asian proverb, and it goes saying like the nail that sticks out the most must be nailed down. And so, yeah, that's my film. I hope you enjoy it.
Một, hai, ba, 4. 5, 6, 7, 8, 9.
Our next reader is Skandal, a graphic artist born in Mexico City, Mexico. He went to the National Art School and the National University of Mexico, where he obtained a degree in visual communications. Since he is very fond of Caribbean and Jamaican tunes, the artist fuses together art and music. His interests include fanzines, illustrations, apocalypse, and ancient civilizations. Take it away, Kama.
That's it. Hello, how are you doing? People, I'm CHema Skandal. I'm a founder of Zine Mercado, and I also run it with Oscar Arriola, you might know, along with some friends, good folks as Flatlands Press and Mike Gamboa. Well, this time I want to show you a little bit of a zine that I really appreciate. I could get a collection of them. I got into zines from 2 sources. One was the political, the other one, the music. And this one is as important for me because they used to publish this zine in Santa Cruz, in California. from 1987 through 1991. So this is it. It's from a crew over there called the Dober Arms firm. This zine is called Boots and Booze. So this is a skin zine, fanzine made by skinheads. And as some of you might know or not, the skinhead culture, the original, has nothing to do with racism and other crappy stuff. We call them boneheads. So this is the true, let's say, like the Bible for many of American skins back in the day, which were influenced by Jamaican music, soul music, reggae, of course, ska, and a little bit of booze, as the name says. They opened their editorial with some lyrics from a band from England, the Angelic Upstarts, which I would like to read. It's called Pride Without Prejudice. And it says, and when the myth has been destroyed and it's safe to think again, to think of pride without the fear of being branded with that name. I will never feel guilt. I will never feel sorry for showing my love and my passion for misuse and abuse, to love and to mock. You can change it. It's not a fashion. Don't cross my love with views of hate. And forget what those thousands died for. They stood side by side. Against the face of oppression, and with everything good, there's always some bad. Even the rose has its thorns. But to profane our land's name for the praise and the few, that's not the truth that you're after. This was Menzies, the Angelic Upstarts. And I think it resumes a little bit of a sense of the culture, but also it sets everything clear, right? So this was a very music-influenced publication. And this guy was doing a lot of reviews of, records from time. Remember, this is like late 80s. So you have a lot of selector stuff, madness. The thing I really liked about them, then we have some puzzles for you to play with your friends. This was the stuff I really liked, the comics. Because these were young lads over there in Cali, south of San Francisco. They were living at the scene that was, I would say, growing up at that moment. And you had a lot of bands, especially from Los Angeles and from the East Coast, of course. So they put up 9 numbers through those years. Another stuff they really liked, football. Soccer, as is not very popular here in the US, but well, the English influence they had, right? And again, the comics from these guys. They had a lot of greasers, probably like a lot of teenagers, rumbles, with their friends. They were probably drinking underage. They're actually making a compilation. So I just want to show you this was the number 2, volume 2, June 1987. Number 3, which has the logo of the firm, which is the crew over there, and a little bit of mockery from the guys they're always being attacked by, and they're talking about, well, against the police, of course. As youngsters, they had all this, I would say, persecution by other subcultures at the time. And well, the good thing with these guys is they just put out the complete collection, and you can now get them. You can reach them at Boots and Boots. There would be Boots with an N, boots.com. And for example, here, this one is just a nice explanation of the, the family tree of the subculture. What else? Well, I couldn't find, there's a nice review about the Scandal's gig in San Francisco around 91. So they were still performing Roland Alfonso, Tommy McCook, and these guys were sharing a joint with them, and they were having a laugh because they came back into the green room and they were just talking about music, but at the end they stayed there for quite a long time, and they were just sharing musical experiences. As you can see, there's a very strong influence by British fanzines from that era. And of course, well, you can see a lot of pictures that were recycled at the time. And they were also doing reviews, Zine's reviews, and some books over there. The last issue they put out, which was winter 1991, you can see how their graphic design skills got better. They're talking about some gigs, some charts by many friends at the time, but now they are musicians, or some of them are actors in California. This is a logo I really like, the Boots and Boots. And the last picture they used on the cover is a very good one. It's Jimmy Cliff dancing along, promoting a record they put out with some skins, some British girls and guys over there. The last one, they also put out I would say the manifesto from Sharp, which is skinheads against racial prejudices, which makes sense with the first paragraph I read. And well, for people that like history, subculture, music, of course, and independent publishing, I would totally recommend it. So feel free. They're on Instagram now. They are parents. They put pictures with their kids, of course, and everything else. But yeah, this is my recommendation. Feel free to check it out. Mm-hmm. So thank you to Chicago Zine Fest folks for inviting me, for always working with Zine Mercado and other folks around. Don't forget to follow us, Zine Mercado, we're everywhere, and please stay safe and care of each other. Strong. Ahora voy a hablar un poco del zine que estoy recomendando esta tarde, que es el Boots and Boots, un skinzine del norte de California que editaba el Dover Arms Firm de Santa Cruz. Este es un skinzine que estaba hecho por algunos skins del norte, algunas chicas scooteristas, y ellos tenían la intención de dar a conocer la cultura skin, la original, contra el racismo, sobre la música y sobre todo pues la camaradería que tenían ellos. Aparte del formato que, como decían, es un muy buen formato, tamaño doble carta, ellos hacían muchos cómics. Por cierto, ellos están haciendo una recopilación y para todos los que quieran pueden encontrarlo ahora. Se editó de abril de 1987 hasta el invierno de 1991. Entonces fueron 4 años en los que ellos estuvieron haciendo este fanzine, que era una manera en la cual ellos daban a conocer la cultura, pero también tenían su muy particular punto de vista. ya que siempre criticaban pues a otros grupos de jóvenes, pero también a la policía, a los yuppies, a los niños que tenían dinero y salían. Pero sobre todo tenían mucho que ver con, pues con todo lo que era la música. Entonces, hablan de ska, de reggae, soul, un poco de oi music y bueno, sobre todo las reseñas y las cartas, las risas que se echaban y otra vez los cómics. Que eran. El último número que hicieron tenía la portada con Jimmy Cliff y unos chicos ahí danzando con ellos. Y bueno, es una de mis recomendaciones. Algunos amigos que están todavía por ahí en la música. ¿Ok? Entonces, lo pueden encontrar en bootsandbooze.com y se los mandan hasta la comodidad de su hogar. Solo quiero agradecer a los amigos de Chicago Zine Fest. Muchas gracias y manténgase en casa.